should.
Yeah.
So back in the Disney fan universe, the other piece of news that was being discussed, other than the placement of Monsters Inc. land, is their expansion to Frontierland in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, which involves the departure of the Liberty Square riverboat, Rivers of America, and Tom Sawyer Island to make way for new Cars attractions. The Disney Parks blog released on Monday, August 12th, oddly enough, after D23 events. It's like they didn't do it at D23, but the day after, the Disney Parks blog released this, and I quote, they said, to make way for this completely new frontier, the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island will be transformed into vast and rugged terrains for a rally race with some of the world's most iconic racers, end quote. And in the same Disney Parks blog article, Michael Hungen, I think it's Hungen, Walt Disney World's portfolio executive producer at Walt Disney Imagineering, was quoted as saying, and I quote, anytime we touch Magic Kingdom, we recognize a massive responsibility that exists to get it right and tell stories that connect with our guests, end quote. And lastly, the article goes on to say that, and I quote, ahead of work revving into high gear next year, guests will have plenty of time to experience the charm and nostalgia of Frontierland as it is today. So here we are with the news of a major facelift to Walt Disney World's Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. This is major. This is bigger than the Fantasyland expansion. They didn't really replace much of anything there, but they were replacing things that have been there since opening day, and Tom Sawyer's Island, Rivers of America, all that kind of stuff. How do we feel about this news?
I think right off the bat, what that quote you just said was messed up about that quote is he's talking about connected to nostalgia, and they ripping all the nostalgia out.
But I mean, I think that's what he's saying. Is like, you know, you have a few months left to enjoy the nostalgia before it goes away.
Sounds like something the landlord tells this tenant before they kick him out
and remodel the apartment.
Yeah, you know, hey,
don't feel bad.
Feel bad about it. You got another 30 days before you got to get out. Yeah, when you come back, you can see how we changed everything. You'll just be homeless. Like,
yeah, it's like coming to America. Yeah,
Winer's book now.
Right,
that's right. I read this as.
Accept this for what it is.
Which I think it's just totally interesting that they released this the day after D23 because they knew the backlash this might come if they did it at that big ass Honda arena.
Oh yeah, as it is, reports that there was silence when it came to this announcement and a small smattering of boos. Ooh. But if they would have released this concept art, I have a feeling that the boos would have been deafening if people knew what they were up to.
Yeah. So what do we think? What do we think about you heard this news? The people have been discussing it at nauseum all freaking week. And so now's our chance to say our piece. How do you feel about this?
The only thing that makes me sad about it is the water going away. I kind of like that water there, but I'm hoping that they're going to incorporate it into the Cars attraction. The other thing that I, worry about a little bit is the sight lines. We've talked about that before, but I just don't want it to ruin the kind of energy of that part of the park because it would be kind of right next to Haunted Mansion. Yeah. I don't know how those two things sort of go together, but I'm going to try to just have faith that they'll figure it out and it'll look cool. And so I'm okay with it, but I'm going to say disclaimer, I don't think I've ever been to Tom Sawyer Island, or if I have, it's been a really long time. I did it as a kid, maybe. So I'm going to make that a priority on my next trip to check it out before it's gone. Just like the shooting gallery. I'm just getting all my Fantasyland before it goes away.
Yes.
Frontierland.
I hear that.
Well, look, I'm going to say this. You're not missing much.
Yeah.
They really have kind of let Tom Sawyer's Island grow stale. So I totally understand the reason why they would be looking at this. I definitely understand that. And from an attraction perspective, almost certainly, the off-road Cars ride looks massive.
Yeah.
And it looks like something that's going to be fun for all ages. Kids are going to love it. And I bet you I'm going to love it.
Definitely more kinetic energy than what was Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. Right. It's just that from a thematic perspective, this is devastating.
Oh, no doubt.
Not just for Frontierland, but for the Magic Kingdom. You look at Epcot, World Showcase is easily enough to understand, but the former Future World, now World Discovery, World Nature, no one is really catching on to what all those overall themes have to do with the overarching story. Hollywood Studios is neither a working movie studio nor a tribute to the movies. Animal Kingdom has gone from a park that was all about animals to a park that happens to have animals. And
Animal adjacent.
yeah, each of those parks opened with a strong central identity that slowly, over time, little by little, they just kept whittling away at it and whittling away at it and whittling away at it until now it's just basically a hodgepodge of different experiences with only a tangential relationship at best with the overarching theme that once tied the whole park together. So you didn't despair about those as much because there was always the Magic Kingdom, but now it seems like the lands in the Magic Kingdom are up for this as well. And that's the part I think that makes me nervous the most, is that each of those lands in the Magic Kingdom were easily identifiable. There was never a point in time where you weren't sure which land you were in. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case here. I'm not sure that I can look around.
I think it's going to be a different name by the time this is all said and done.
It's a strong possibility.
I hope so.
It's going to be with the Wilderness Land.
Desert land. Or
If they want to do that, that's fine, because this is not the frontier.
No,
and that abortion of explanation that Josh Tomorrow gave was awful. That's awful.
Yeah, this is very interesting news. Looking at the concept art, the thing with the concept art with Disney, unlike Universal, is like I can't count on this to be reality. So right now we're just speculating on the stuff they've released. I'll be honest and say that I haven't been on Tom Sawyer's Island in a while. I do like Tom Sawyer's Island when I'm on it, but the thing of it is getting to Tom Sawyer's Island is not the easiest thing in the world.
No, it's very time consuming.
It's time consuming. You got to wait in line for those freaking flatboats or rafts to take you across. If they had a bridge or something that they built somewhere, I guarantee you it would have more traffic.
Yes.
Because one thing, and maybe this is because when I was younger, and it was not that much younger, it was like high school and stuff, college, I enjoyed walking through those caverns. I enjoyed the wilderness. I enjoyed the calmness of it. The barrel bridge, I freaking enjoyed. Just all those different things.
It was like their first play area. You know how like Dinoland had the boneyard and everything like that? That was Tom Sawyer's Island. It's not really that anymore. They've kind of just let it go.
Yeah. They literally let it go.
So much so to the point that I want to say the first time we got Lily over there, after all the time waiting in line, finally getting a raft, finally getting over there, finally getting the island, it's like, oh, now what do we do?
Right.
And so I think there's a reason, like Rachel, as many times as she's been, has never been there, because it's not necessarily been an attraction, an appeal to come over here and come see this really cool stuff that we have over there. They don't really get into what's over there.
No, it's not easy to access. And I think that's a big issue of why there's zero traffic or very little traffic, because they made it so hard to get to. I understand the concept of using the flat rafts and whatever else, but it's even if you gave me a little bridge, I think it would have been better than having to rely on those rafts all the time.
A bridge, an underground cavern that you can tunnel under, kind of like what they do in Paris.
Cool.
Yeah. That would have been great. An underground mine that you go through. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. I think that would have been incredible.
At least maybe even put in some characters in there. Because, I'm like you guys. I went to Tom Sawyer's Island a couple of times, but I never came out like blown away.
I don't think you want that foul-mouthed Tom Sawyer.
Oh, yeah,
take a picture with Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer over there.
Yeah, you do it here. Like, you know what decade this is? I'm just saying, maybe
like a reimagining of it.
Yeah, because you're going through the tree, you go through the tree house and you see the rooms and decorated. That was intricate for what it was, but the
fort was cool too.
It's all it works for its time, but being older is like, I can't exactly go in these rooms and sit in the little chair. I would break it, like. There's only a handful of things I could do. So for me, I was like, well, I'm good. I've seen it. I'm not really heard any stories where people like, man, like I remember going here as a kid and how it captivated me. And that's what I don't feel for this one. But at the same time, I agree that Frontierland is not looking like Frontierland anymore. And I held myself back just on them taking away, my shoot gallery.
That was painful. That was the most painful piece of this.
Right. But now that they're announcing, this IP coming in and they're just like, oh, yeah, it's the Frontier where cars go through it. Like, no, you just have to have like stagecoaches or something, at least if you have any respect for what that area is supposed to be, because it's supposed to be a time window into yesteryear, not the rearview mirror. You know what I mean?
Well,